Hi gang, welcome back to another tutorial with Ben at Planks. Today I'm going to show you how to make a tabletop using some very basic minimal kit and equipment that you can do in your own garage, in your own hobby area. What you'll need, a joining device. Now here we're using a biscuit joiner. This is just an Airbauer biscuit joiner that we picked up from Screwfix. There are many other products out there and I'm sure that you can research this and find out what best suits your budgets and such. An alternative option is to come over to the Planks website and we'll use our kit and equipment to join the tabletop for you. Just a suggestion. You'll need good wood glue. Now I will always recommend Titebond because I know that it works. I've used it my whole career. It is fantastic. With the biscuit joiner, we will also need biscuits. You will need clamps, a square, and you will need your timber. Now, a few things that I've done before the tutorial is I've milled the timber to be perfectly square and flat along its edges. And that way I know that when I butt join them together initially, you can see there are no gaps here. I have also gone through, I found some blemishes, and where possible, I'm going to have an A side and this will be the B side. So on top, which is what everyone will see, we'll have a nice piece of furniture. Another thing to think of is you can always cut away. It's difficult to add, particularly lengthwise. That's a different tutorial for another day. So I've oversized my dimensions here. Let's jump into it. What am I doing here? Well, I'm measuring out my marks for where I want to place biscuits. Now the biscuit joiner is a fairly simple tool to use. If I can do it, I'm fairly certain anyone can. And all I'm doing is marking with my pencil and my square the joins. Just a nice pencil mark. These will be sanded out later. And I'm marking 3 just to make sure I've got enough connections there to strengthen the bond. These pencil lines will also act as a guide for when I line up my biscuit joiner onto the line. And I will have a nice even space with my biscuits. Cool. Once that's done, I take my pencil and I'm going to mark either side. So this side is going to be the left as I'm standing facing it, and this side, the right. I then number them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've done this so that I can avoid the easy mistake of confusing which orientation I'm working from. What I've done here is clamp it to the table, and that way the workpiece won't move away from me as I operate my biscuit joiner. Now, you can set the depth on this to match your piece, and it needs to be the same with every cut that you make. So I'm putting down my fence because that's what's going to rest on top of the surface of this piece. And I am just going to set my fence using the guide to 17 mil, because this is a 35 mil thick. And this should mean that my biscuit hole is right in the center of this piece of wood. It's also a good idea, if you're using the biscuit joiner, to have some good hearing protection on. Using my pencil line, I line up the guideline, and I make sure I have a firm grip on the base and on the machine, because we want to avoid any tipping. We want it to be dead straight and go into that timber at a nice angle. So I'm holding it down. As I lay my biscuit joiner down, I'm careful not to touch the fence because this is the setting now that I want to replicate on every piece. Okay, and these are our biscuit holes. And that's what we will use. This is a 20mm biscuit, and it will slot in here, and it will slot into the biscuit hole on the corresponding piece, and it will glue, bond it all together and keep it nice and strong, nice and flat. Okay, so we have cut all of our biscuits, and now I have dry fitted my surface together. And the next part is the gluing. You want enough glue on here that you get a little bit of squeeze out. A little bit of squeeze out is what we are after, because then we know we have enough glue on. If there's no squeeze out, you've probably not put enough glue in. You will also need to hand a wet rag. And this is essential for wiping off the glue so that it doesn't dry on our piece. That way we will have an easier time of cleaning up at the end. And I'm applying a little bit of glue into my biscuit hole. And inserting my biscuits. Here I've got a nifty little device for rolling the glue onto the surface. A brush works just as well, and I'm just getting all of that glue over the biscuit and making sure that I'm covering the surface. And I'm double checking the whole time to make sure that my pieces still line up properly, and I am just making sure that that sits in there nice and tight, giving it a little smack with my hammer. Perfect. And that is nice and glued. Now, when you're clamping, you're not looking to over tighten. You just want enough pressure to hold it together, because if we over tighten, you risk bowing. And that's something that we want to avoid. It'll ruin all of your nice hard work getting the boards nice and flat and square. So we are just tightening enough to pull it all together. We have a little bit of squeeze out, which is good. This is what we wanted, but it's not lifting or twisting any of the boards. I'm clamping in line with where my biscuits are. And this is because this is the area that I particularly want to ensure has a good connection and a good amount of force on it. And then I take my wet rag and I just remove the excess glue. Now I also, for the top surface, run my wet cloth over the top face, the good face, A face of my timber. And I'm doing this to enable the grain to rise. And this is just a little extra that you can do because it will give you a really nice finish when it comes to sanding. It will also, if you have any scratches that you've acquired before coming to this stage of the project, help to alleviate some of those nastier scratches. But also in the next step, which would be to sand this, once it's all glued, we can also get rid of any blemishes, scratches or marks. And again, I'm flipping over the workpiece and I'm just removing all of the glue that has come tumbling out on the other face. I've also rested it this side down so it's resting on the clamps, and therefore it isn't going to attach itself to my workstation. And that, my friends, is how to join a table. It's how we do it here at Planks. If you have any questions, comments, queries, please ask away. We love questions and we love to teach. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, there's a whole section more. And don't forget, this is just one of many projects that we produce here at Planks. Thanks for watching.